stream for demos.
Oh. So don't actually what you need now. So YouTube generates a file. Nope. I think we had trouble with that at one event where they killed part of our stream because someone played some bit of music around.
That if we were just humming it. Where did Slack go? Here, Slack. I really hope that they made it to the train because their train left 12 minutes ago when you asked that question.
Okay, everybody, congrats on hopefully successfully finishing an IndieWebCamp. We will start the demos now. So the way this is going to work, note at the front and introduce yourself again by name and by URL, and plug into the projector up here. There's HDMI and all of the adapters. We should have all of them. If you can, if your computer doesn't connect to it right away, and you can demo something just on the web without having to have your computer in particular, then you can borrow mine and we can do that for the computers that don't work. Because I noticed that some of them yesterday didn't connect to it. Yeah. So introduce yourself by your name, your URL, and then show what you got done today or what you tried to do and couldn't finish, which inevitably happens. And who would like to start?
Ominous silence. Well done, Kaya.
Since the API can't send you notifications properly, you just have to check every 20 seconds.
Sorry. Trying not to sleep. It's not going to deafen everybody on the live stream.
Well, that takes it on. Hi again, my name is Philip, cowglow.com. One of the things that I wanted to work on was to implement YAML. We had a discussion yesterday about how we source information. So what I was able to do is that I was able to now update. I created some, so I changed the text so you guys can see. The source can be swapped, right? And we have 3 different sources: JSON, XML, and YAML. But the other couple of things that I had to do with this is that, if for whatever reason somebody wanted to enter the wrong parameter, you have to add additional conditions that to clean that. So the default will always be English and JSON, because the other thing that I did is that I added a German version. But obviously, if I happen to not have this whatever it is, like if you're looking for it in Italian, then it won't work. It'll just be English JSON as a default source. So I also got a chance to sort of clean up the stuff. I had mentioned that I had refactored to an Angular app. So I created a directive to display the videos on the portfolio. And that was great, except that now it's just using the iframe from Vimeo to be able to put it in there. So it's good, it simplified some of the stuff. So I got to sanitize and clean and organize the files, because I had like legacies and legacies of different stuff that I hadn't committed yet. So one of the neat things that I'm trying to do is that I'm trying to make a change and commit right away, instead of like making a change and holding on to it until, I don't know, whatever moment it's right. But yeah, so that's what I did, and I really appreciate everyone's input in yesterday's discussion. Obviously the next step for this is to try to use some sort of like micropub, which is something new that I just learned about yesterday, to try to push, but for a different project that I have. So I think for this is supposed to be very static. Never going to change it. Well, from time to time. And yeah, so is that it? Is that good? Any questions?
So yeah, hello again. My name's still Marco, and I still don't have a website, but I was able to code up a little something on my computer at least, which I could go and host somewhere. And as I'm mainly doing HTML, CSS, I of course have to do it responsive. There's a little button. Pull up the menu. The font is fluid, so the farther the import, the more the font scales up. And what I wrote today in the Slack channel about the CH unit, I used that. So my paragraph here will never get farther than to that character here, which makes reading pretty good, the reading experience. And as you also can see from the 800 pix keyboard width, if I go one below, there's the menu button, and there you have the basic navigation for screen sizes larger than 800 pixels, because then those links definitely fit. Apart from that, there's not much about it. I got styling done, got a few links in here for where I'm on the web else, and a little footer. So basically I was able to create something that I can start with my first own website. Now I just need a domain and a hoster, and then I can put it on there. Yay!
Yeah, I'm not sure if the HDMI is working. Yesterday it was not, so.
That one might be better.
Take it out.
Can you hold this while you're speaking this to the microphone?
Of course. No, it doesn't switch. Doesn't say anything, right? So I could show it online.
Is mine?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, my name is still Sebastian, but I couldn't handle to get my domain off from 1&1 still, but I didn't try this day. So the page I'm showing is a static layout I made a while ago, and the tag is a bit old right now, but I thought it is better to have than to have no website. It is better to have any. And so I took this static layout and filled it with some content. and put it on the domain reductor.me, which is basically the wrong domain. I couldn't, basically I did this. You see just a second, I'll make it bigger. So that I finally just have to pull the domain, and then this page, you can read the text on the current story I'm working on. In the background you'll see a slideshow. You can play the trailer or listen to sounds from the island. I don't think we have sound here, but anyway. To get some impressions around the story, around the pictures and the story, just as a background sound. But and then you've got the categories like stories, portraits, and so on, where I just put in the different reportage I made. It is not really ready, but at least there is something. And then portraits, and in the live stream takes a while right now, I think. Not sure. It takes a while. As said, that the tag is a bit older, so it will preload it from my server, and then it will be instantly there if I would do it right. And the live stream is filtered by anything which I want to have on this page, because this is basically a story page. So I've put in the live stream any updates about stories. There's a small about page where you can see what I'm usually doing. This is what I made today, basically.
Cool,
thank you. Thank you. Do you need this one?
Mm-hmm.
Sorry.
And when you come up here, there's this little thingy here. It's a microphone, and it'll help the sound be better on the remote. So if you can just hold it, or if you want to clip it to your shirt, you can. You can just also hold it.
Where's your dock?
I'm not familiar with Apple computing, so
Let's just try that way.
oh, thank you.
For some reason your dock is not auto showing.
So hi, my name is Anastasia.
Can you just press the green button in the top left corner of Safari?
What?
Green, left.
Ah,
right.
yeah. Got it.
There you go.
Yeah, my name is Anastasia. I'm still a noob working on my WordPress blog with no content on it. Still a meme, which is against the European law, I think, because we launched the upload filters. They launched upload filters 2019, I think. So what have I done today? Well, I erased successfully my menu here, so there is no menu anymore. And also I did some work on categories, because I need to make them in different colors for my content. I will put as soon as possible. And yeah, deleted some bugs. I'm still have very much work to do, but with no knowledge, I still have a website, and yeah, I'm proud of it.
HTML. So, let's see. Exactly. There we go. So, okay, just set it up. Okay, my name is Björn, and I don't have the problem that I don't have a website. I have too many of them. So I split my day in two parts. So I currently, or I had this morning, I just had a static website. This was this wonderful animated thingy. I have a WordPress blog where I post about my sports stuff, and I have an own site with all the IndieWeb gimmicks thrown in. And I took a step back and made some brain dump on MindMeister and checked out all the tools I use, all the websites, all the online services I use, and I try to dump this down. So you see the timeline over here where I worked on the mind map, and it, as you see it in the background, it moves and it gets less and less services and some connections over there. So this process isn't finished, but I now have an overview about all the tools I use, all the services I use, and how I want to use them. And this was the base for me to first of all scrap this website. So this is just this only lives temporarily to show it up here. It's not on the web anymore. So this will be my primary outlet for now. So the URL which was used for the static website before now ends up here as well. And there's still some configuration issues, but if you type my full name, you will end up on the known site as well. Yeah, here we go. This one I still have to check out how to get all the WordPress stuff out and put it into known, but this will die as well. So I end up with just one website which serves all my stuff. And meanwhile, I also tried to consolidate some of the services I used, especially the cloud storage tools. I had some files living on Google Docs and on Google Drive and on OneDrive and on Dropbox and whatnot. And I found this nice tool called multcloud. It's a free service where you can move stuff from one cloud to the other without putting it on your PC first and then upload it again. So I moved all the stuff from Dropbox and all the stuff from Google Drive to my OneDrive. You see it's running down here still. Move some photos over there. So I'll end up with all my files in one place on the web. Yeah, it's still not my place. It's still owned by Microsoft, but I pay for it. I get 1 terabyte by them, so why not use it? And yeah, in the end, I want to end up with lesser services and more focus on those I really want to use and not use every web service there is. So yeah, that was my day.
Worked.
Yeah, but now you see nothing. That's something. Let's see. I have been working on a reader. Yeah, I built a reader. I was using Aaron's what you call Aaron's aperture instance, and I wanted something different with the kind of, I like the way that it uses channels and how you can add feeds to channels, and then it gives you the list of the things that happen. But I thought, yeah, there's more that you can do with it. So I tried to create a micro server. I cheated a bit here because I always also wrote a front-end little thing for it earlier on, and I just ported that one to this one. So this is a front-end that lives on the same server, but it uses Microsoft under the hood. So I now can, I imported Aaron's feed, and I imported Aaron's feed of likes, and I've imported my feeds of likes, which is important in a while. So I now can ask for latest post, and it will get a list of all the posts that are on the server, that are imported from the feeds I pointed it at, so that works. And it's also, I used a graph database for this. So this is a graph database, and if I ask it for the posts, like every post is a node in the graph. So I can say, oh, give me all the nodes in the graph and return those. And then you can get a feeling of what it looks like. So this is the graph at the moment, and it's kind of centered about Aaron on that, because my site, there is something wrong with the authorship, but it's nice because now you see it's more visible this way. So these are all the posts in my feed by Aaron, and some of those are likes. Yeah, here's Yoshi, and so you can see that Aaron likes Yoshi's posts. So these are tweets by Yoshi that are liked. And what you also can see is that I post a post that is also liking, oh, there it goes, this post. Where did it go? This post, like this. So we got a, this tweet here is liked by both Aaron and by me. And it's, Yoshi's the author, and due to a bug he's the author twice, but yeah. And the nice thing is that I now can write a query to get this out. So I got the query over here somewhere, I believe. Like if I can, how do we do this? So this is the query I can now run. So I can match an entry that likes another entry, and I can then count the entries that like the entry, and then I can sort the whole thing by the number of likes. And then when I do that, then, and I do it in a table, then you can, the first one is actually that tweet because it gets 2 likes. So then we're getting here, like I can still, oh yeah, I have this check-in thing. This is the same thing with all the check-ins, so it can still do the old thing that the other, but this is actually a list of all the posts in the feed that are liked by someone. So this one is on top of, because it's liked twice, and that one is next because it's the most recent, so it's liked only once. And of course you can throw them out over time, but this is, so, and also note that these things are not in feeds I follow, they are posts that in feeds, that are liked in feeds that I follow. So that's nice. That's all it does right now, so it needs some more work, but it's something.
One question, what did you use for the graph?
The question was what did I use for the graph, and it's Neo4j.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, it's on Java, and I don't really know, but it has it knows HTTP, and you can talk to it, so that's nice.
Of course it takes
More or less an easy answer for graph database. It has online demands.
I worked on my personal site today. I found a Gutenberg-ready theme. Found a Gutenberg-ready theme that I liked and that I installed, and then built it with some Gutenberg blocks. I didn't get into custom Gutenberg blocks, but I'm now feeding with an RSS aggregator plugin posts from my other sites into my personal site, and started listing all my websites on it, and I'm also feeding what I read on Pocket into it, and I started cleaning up the content to put on the website, so reloading screenshots from other projects and stuff like that. So I got a lot farther than I wanted, but of course it's not finished.
Okay, hello, I'm Yoshi. This is my website, jkphl.is. I basically did what Aaron said. I looked for an easy thing and for an even more easy thing, and I started with the latter one. I wanted to add some events to my website. I did so. Just were 3 of them, but at least the most important ones. And the little bit more difficult task was to implement RSVPs. So now I'm accepting RSVPs, and we tried that, and you see it works. And I think it needs a lot of improvement, but at least there is something. And if you're using RSVP on your website, then please attend, for example, the IndieWebCamp in Berlin. And if you RSVP to that, then it should show up in about 5 minutes or something. So that's it.
Wrong one.
Okay, so my name's still Jeremy Cherfas and jeremycherfas.net, and I was trying to get my Trails data out of my phone and onto my website. Before I'd managed to do it for a sample set of data, but the data also includes a lot of summary statistics, which is what I mostly wanted to be able to do. It's buried deep in one great big JSON file, and so I spent most of the day trying to get it out of there, and come along.
Slow. It's thinking.
Is it thinking?
Yes.
Oh yes, it is thinking. Good.
There we go.
Okay. So I've got the route now coming in the template. It was on the file before, but it's now in the template, which I think makes it more economical to use. And I managed to get the statistics out. So you can see that was my walk this morning, and you can see here are the summary statistics just as they're presented. I haven't figured out yet how to add the units to these, because each of them is different. So that could be a bit of a problem. One of the things that I was playing with on this is that this is the file itself from which it builds that that page, and you can tell it the name of the track of the data file and various other things. So the title is actually On My Way to Tollwork, but the file is called Tollwork Markdown, and the template is walk, and so I can change how it's actually presented by changing those things. And the next things I want to do are to try and get photos taken on the walk. I mean, this is not just for little walks, I do long walks. Try and get photos taken on the walk to turn up as a marker on the route. That's next, which will probably be next year. Okay, fine, thank you.
I'll jump in so I don't go last. I'm going to try something that nobody should ever do during a demo, which is run code for the first time in production. So I'm Aaron, and I have I had a small thing I did today, which isn't really worth showing, which is I fixed my media endpoint to move files into date folders, so I don't just have everything in one giant folder, because it was starting to get really, really big. So that works better now. Doesn't really look like anything, but it's good that it's done. The thing I actually wanted to do was, so I track what I eat and drink all the time, and normally I use this Teacup app, which is actually a website, and this is like a normal website that requires an internet connection, and then when I'm on a plane, it doesn't work, and I can't use it. So I wanted to get something working so I can actually use this offline, where it still loads a web page with a service worker, because we can do that now, because we live in the future, and then sync up the data later. And I know that Jeremy Keith wrote this book about service workers, so I bought that and started reading through it, and it was about as hard as I was expecting it to be. So it wasn't super complicated, but it wasn't super easy. And I have a new app, which is actually, again, a website, but when I install this website, it can turn into a little app icon on my phone, and then I can launch it. So it looks like crap, because I haven't spent any time on making it look pretty yet. But in theory, it works. So now it gives me, it's showing us a little green bar on the top because we're online right now, and it defaults to the current date and time zone based on the browser. And if I go offline, then the little bar should turn red, because now we have no internet connection. Yep, and it's upset about that. And I should be able to launch the app again still. So the app still loads, even though it's a website. And now the real test. Oh, can you hand me that cup? I can't post fake data to my site. So, I'm drinking a coffee. And with any luck, if I hit save, what save does is it actually tries to make a post request to the server, and if the request fails, the service worker can catch it, intercept it, and instead write it onto the cache. And dramatic buildup, and it doesn't work. Because I didn't test it on my phone before I actually came up here. So I think I'm dealing with a bug in iOS Safari still. I was developing it in Chrome on my desktop. It works there. The cool part is when the internet comes back, it recognizes it and it'll turn green again. And as soon as it turns green, that's an event that fires that then starts pushing up all the posts to my server. So now I need to figure out how to debug service workers running on an actual phone from my laptop where I have a console. So learning like 8 new things today. It's great. So thanks.
say I see it blinking on the laptop, so it has to come up here.
Maybe.
Can I this too? Yeah, it's me again, Stefan Van, and I'm very quickly trying to. Okay, it's my big demo. This is actually the first thing I did. How do you get an Android phone screen displaying on a MacBook? Surprisingly hard. But you're now seeing what I see on the phone. So one of the things I've been thinking about is I just want to do what Aaron does, so I want to be able to post things when I'm doing them. The best UI I found for that was Facebook, but I didn't want to use Facebook, so I've been building my own thing. So if I go here, we go to the little bell icon, which I just built today, I get a posting thing with all sorts of activities that I might want to do. I can scroll the list a little, but there are not enough items to show that. So let's just do, I am at Tollwork. Not traveling, not eating, I'm also not drinking. Well, I can say I'm watching demos. Demos and attending an IndieWebCamp. Here we go. And it keeps the things I filled in on top, so I can always see what I'm about to post. So now if I share this, theoretically, you should be able to go to the website. It's here. We have one thing that was me before testing, so I'll refresh. There I am. Now at Tollwerk, watching demos, attending IndieWebCamp. So probably in the next 2 days this will fill up with I'm on a bus, I'm on a ferry, I'm in Berlin, because my travel time to get home is about 24 hours. Let's see, what did I have next up? Next up, because Ton and Frank had to leave us, I'll just show off what they've blogged about. So Ton did two things. First thing he blogged about was his first task. His homepage had way too many H cards, 16 of them. And he really just wanted every parser to always find the one that had his information in it. So that's one thing he fixed. Created an extra child theme for WordPress where he removed all these superfluous cards, and only the card we see there on the right is still the H card. That was his first thing. And we go to the next tab. He was also working on web mentions, and the biggest pain point for him was that if someone just mentioned him, not specifically sending a reply, it would just show up as someone mentioned the post. And he really wanted to show some sort of context. So he worked on that today, and he got that working. So if I go to, here's an older blog post by him that automatically got updated. And we can see a quote from where exactly on the other person's page he was mentioned. So that's what Tom did. I should applaud for him as well. not just for me. Then we have Frank. So he was sitting here and he was building just to get the micro formats on his website at all. And he got the H entry and the H card working, which we can see by simply parsing this page, which I've done here, where you can see the different properties. A lot of you were in the microformat session at the start yesterday, so you recognize that it has a name for the H entry and the content with the post contents and so on. And I think he blogs that there were more projects on his list, but I don't think.
He was working on web mentions, and he managed to get web mentions to send manually, and he was still trying to get it to send automatically.
Yes, it's actually his next blog post is all about how he's testing web mentions, how he was using ngrok to test his local version of the website. So he's been testing that. But I don't see how much of it he actually has live. He writes, the first test didn't go through, and he keeps on trying. Which is, of course, exactly what these IndieWebCamps are about. If you're on the demo, just keep on trying, try to get the thing out you want. And that's it for me. And for Frank and for Tom.
So I'm Lars. I'm this print guy. I'm not a web developer, not a web designer, not a programmer. So today I had a little fist fight with my Kirby CMS and PHP. And now I won the fist fight. So now I don't have only a date of my post, I have the time also.
Wow.
I'm very proud of it.
Good.
Thank you. That's all.
If you're not a developer, it's a big step.
Yeah.
Yeah, I also only did some minor things, as I said in the introduction, as an example of why you shouldn't write your own CMS. I didn't have pagination, so my front page went back years to all the posts I ever did, and now I have pagination. And I think by now it shouldn't generate any links that crash the web server, which it did for most of the day. So, yeah. Also, easy feature you normally get for free if you do it yourself, especially if you don't use a database. So you even have to do like, and now count 10 and remember where you left off by hand. Takes surprisingly long to implement.
We have that adapter. It's okay. So my name is still Rosemary. I'm still at rosemaryoshid.com. That did not change in the last 24 hours. The resolution of the screen did change though. Yesterday there was a session on geodata, and as part of that I downloaded and installed Aaron's app called Overland, which can store data. And I woke up this morning with 3,000 data points and thought, okay, I probably ought to do something with this, because otherwise it's just going to sit on my phone for ages. So the very first thing I did this morning was I installed, again, Aaron's app called Compass. So you can see the very long route that we took to not find a bar yesterday evening before finally giving up. And then I went back to the hotel, again, as you can see. So this is great because I now have the data. The next step for that will actually be getting it to post trips to my website, but that's all documented how I can do that. So I then moved on to my next project, which I use Grav, and I want to build a micropub endpoint that you can actually install in Grav as a plugin. And so I have an admin UI. I have nothing else, but I have an admin UI where you will be able to store the information, where you'll be able to specify which auth endpoint and token endpoint you're using, which taxonomy type you want to use to store the category microformat that is posted. And I took a tip from Aaron, which is storing images uploaded to the media endpoint in a year and or month folder so that you don't have a very, very large folder full of images that you can't figure out where they came from anymore. And yeah, that's about it. Despite the massive pile of adapters, we all still have our own adapters if we know that we need them. I didn't, just because I felt that that was going to be too much and people were going to get a bit confused. the demo of it properly, it wouldn't really definitely work later.
Okay, so I was going to do some additions to my homepage today to include some extra bits of information about what I'm actually doing right now, but actually got a bit held up with a few things, so I decided right at the start of the day to change to H2 HTTP2. That all went pretty well to start with. So I'll just show you basically in the inspect how that works. So all my assets, this should be to load it. Initially they weren't loading because of the antivirus, but they are now. If I go to protocol, you can see all the assets. Just zoom in. Should be all coming through H2. Some of them are speedy, but so the problem with that I found out later on was that my micropub endpoint broke. So now I've got to try and find out why that is. The suspect is get all headers, so it's not actually defined, but that will probably be quite a simple fix. Apart from that, there isn't really anything to show you, but quite a lot of time was trying to do a few changes so that when people check me in, you can also see the current weather condition and what temperature it is. So that's me.
Want to demo that hasn't demoed?
Or finish the demo in the last 10 minutes and has to demo again?
I mean, I do have a backup demo, but
I think we done. All right, I think that's it then. Congrats, everybody. Yeah, thanks everybody for coming. I hope you learned something and got something out of it. Huge thanks to Yoshi for hosting and organizing and making all the food happen. Yeah, we'll do this again in Berlin in 2 weeks.
yes, somebody took it. Missing microphone, but good stuff.
Thanks. And yeah, if anybody is in the neighborhood in Berlin in 2 weeks, we'll do this again.
Will you attend Berlin?
What's that?
Do you attend?
I will be there.
Oh.
Yep, I will be there. Go back home first, but I'll come back. So I'll talk those plane miles. Yeah, thanks. Cool. Thanks, everyone. Oh, anybody who's left here this evening, we will probably go like find dinner and drinks again and stuff, so you don't have to rush off right away. Feel free to keep an eye on the chat. We'll figure out what to do.
The traffic download from